Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, and today we are going to discuss about the day 4 lightning. And in this, as you can see, the first topic will be the aura ID, and today only we are going to discuss about that how to write the logic in controller.js. So what is the importance of the aura ID? See, you know very well, in the past 3 sessions we have discussed few things about the lightning, and in that I have told you that we have the standard components, and using those components we create our custom component. So to identify those components we use aura ID. Now there are the, basically if somebody ask you that uh, how many types of IDs we have, so we have two types of IDs. One is local ID and another one is global. So my suggestion will be that always the go with local ID, because that is something is which you are going to create, you are going to give to any of the standard component. That means like any, for just for example, because I once I will be going to the practical session, I will be showing you. But let's say you create any input field on your HTML. Okay, so that is we have as lightning input. I will show you how. So you can give a aura ID to it. That will not be changed at any moment. It will be the same. Okay. If you will be giving the same ID to multiple standard components, then you will be getting an array. When you will try to the use the aura ID, or when you will try to find the standard components using that particular ID, so you will get the multiple the presence. For example, if I say that there is a student of named Rohan in the class, there is a and the student with the Rohan, and the student with the Rohan, and the student with the Rohan. So when you will say Rohan, so there will be multiple yes sir as a return. You will get a yes sir as a response. But for example, let's say you will say that there's a one student in the class, and you say only one student. So you will say Prashant. Okay. So you will get what? You will get only one response. And if there is no the standard component defined with that particular aura ID, then you will get undefined as a result. Okay. But a global ID is what? Global ID is something which is generated in the runtime. So this gets changed. You can if you try to find out the element we're using the global ID, you because it's a runtime, so you may not find it. So global ID is something which you can't rely on. Okay, so that's the reason I'm saying that always these prefer the local ID. And we will see today that how to they give the aura ID to any of the standard component. And the use of that particular I will try to explain you the why we use this aura ID in our logic. Okay, so let's jump to the practical session. And thank you so much to the everyone. Uh, I mean, you are just like my family, and I really, they appreciate the way you, I mean, appreciate my efforts. You send your love. It is something which, which keep me motivated. So right now, I'm recording this session at it's 11:36, just because your love has, the that force, that the that power, which is making me to record a session at this time. It's a motivation, So I am, the creating one uh, component here, and in this component we will be understanding that how to use the Aura ID. What are the, the methods? I mean, three methods which we use to find out the Aura ID of any of the standard component, and how to write our logic in our controller.js. If you require any, I mean, the code, then please let me know. I will be, sharing you the link to you all, so that you can use it in your projects, in your future. You can keep it for your future references. And yes, if you have any suggestion for me, then please may help me with your suggestions to improve. So this is my component, and in this component, uh, I am, just what I'm doing. I'm basically, what I'm going to do is I am creating one form, and in this form I will be using uh, I will be using the two fields, to which will be, showcasing you to take the input, and a button will be there. So this will be, the HTML backend logic. We will be using Aura ID to find out what exactly we are, the going to in which exactly the field we are inputting our text. So we will see that. Okay. Now, there's something, which we have already discussed, and that is the attribute. Okay. So if you have not, seen my previous videos, then I request you to go through those videos. Those videos will be, they may explain you the attributes in a much deeper way. Okay. So I'm going to create one attribute. For example, first name. Okay, so this will be holding, the first name. It will be just holding first name. Okay, now we are going to use lightning input, and for each lightning input we will be using or ID, so that we can identify. Now if you want to, the find out the lightning input, then you will simply write it this way: lightning input. So this is the the all the standard components which I'm talking about, and each the different format of the the inputs are available here. You can select as per your choice, and I'm going to use the text one here. Okay, now in the text one I have the uh, all the options available. So because the first I will be showing you that how it looks like. Okay, basically the let me take the all the three so that I can explain you. And there's a problem with the mouse. Okay, so this I have taken, and to explain you, I am just saving this code here to show you the what exactly the HTML is. Uh, what is the HTML of this component? When you use the I mean the SLDS, so you have to use this extends force colon SLDS. This helps you to give the proper implementation of the CSS. Okay. Aura ID. Okay. Sorry. Component is missing. Now let us just preview it, that what exactly my HTML is looking like. See, this is how my HTML looks like. So it's a default value. Okay, it's a default value. Okay, so instead of this default value, what I can do, I can use my attribute as well. Okay, so I will be using value equal. Okay, and to use this attribute I have to write my expression like this. So I will simply okay, and here as well I will be using my this second attribute. Otherwise what will be happening, it will be showing you the static value. Sorry. Fair enough. Let us see the change now. Okay, so there's no the no default value. Now we were talking about the aura ID. So let us give the I mean the aura ID to both of the input fields. So you can give the aura ID here. It's just an the you can say like in our schools we have the a enrollment number, this roll number. In our I mean in our offices we have the employee number. So it's just like the unique ID you are giving to just to identify. Okay. Fair enough. Now, what else? We will be using one lightning button. So the each type of the CS, I mean different type of the CSS of the buttons are available. You can choose any. Okay. So for example, if I choose this one, so this will be the base. It will not go, give you the good look. Take it this one, the brand one. Okay. Now I am adding the Aura ID here as well. Let us say, you can say the DT. Or do not get confused. I will take you with two different examples. Just keep this way. Okay. Because that will be why I'm taking the two examples now, because that is something is a browser event based, so we have the two different methods there, so I don't want to may confuse you. Now this is as I told you, these all are auto wired. Okay. So you just you need, when you need to write the logic in your controller.js, so you just need to use this. And yeah, let me explain you this thing as well. This is the lightning button. Okay. On click you are calling a method. Now whenever you are talking about the method, you will be using C, that is the namespace, and dot. Okay. And remember the difference. There are two difference. C dot is and then the method. And if you're talking about the C colon, then it's a component. Okay. So C dot is a method name. You just copy it and replace it. Okay. Now we'll be writing our logic here. Whatever the logic we wants to get. I mean, whatever logic we wants to do. Okay. So let's say our logic is find the component, that on which component we have inserted the value, and get value using component.find. Okay. So let's see where I'm creating a variable. It is something similar to the integer, float, decimal, but as you know that in a JavaScript we have the var variable. So the which becomes automatically becomes the in the same I mean, if you are going to insert the text data, that will become a string main type of the variable. If you provide the integer type of data, it will become integer type of the variable. So where, and now what I'm doing, I am using the component dot. Okay. Now remember, sometime you will see that they will be writing CMP in this place. CMP. So it depends upon the what the parameter you are providing. If you're providing a CMP, then you can write CMP. If you are providing the component and you're providing a CMP here, then this will hit a error. Okay. Now take the Aura ID of this thing. Oh, sorry. And just give the or ID name. Okay, and what this will do, this will give you the instance of the local ID. Okay, that okay, I mean, just with the the Aura ID, you will get an instance of it. You will this particular variable will hold an instance of this. Okay, instance of your Aura component. Okay, now this is the Aura ID which we have copied from the component. Okay, now what else we will do? We will be same way we will be finding our uh, second variable. So you have to use what? You have to use your find method to finding the variable. Sorry, the lightning component. You have to use your find method and provide the Aura ID there. Okay. So the both variables will be holding the instance of your the Aura component. Okay. Now to check the value, that what exactly the value you have inserted, that means what value you have written here and written here. So you will be using, so I'm using the console to find the to check the value, the what value I'm getting. So first name field value. Okay, v dot that particular value, which value, which you have used here. So we are referring to this value. Okay, so if you are using this, then only you will be able to get the data in your console logs. Okay, same way. And do not bother about using this get function which I'm using, because that I will be showing you again in a next session as well in a deeper way. Just understand right now the use of Aura ID. Okay, because this I'm going to the show you, explain you in the next session, with the more examples. This will be clear. Right now your focus should be only with the Aura ID. Okay, so only keep this thing in your mind, that whenever you are using the Aura ID for any these, I mean, to find any of the standard component, you will be using component.find and provide your Aura ID. Okay, and as I told you that for a to find the the any of the standard the component based on the browser event, that I'm going to demonstrate to you in a second video to, sorry, second example today only. And even do not bother about the what exactly I am writing the logic in the control.js, because this is also I'm going to explain you in a in a much deeper way, in a better way. But I'm just trying to show you that how it is auto wired, so that you will be able to understand that okay, this is the this is how our component bundle is auto wired. Since we are talking about the auto wired, in the past 2 3 maybe videos, so that's the reason it becomes important to understand and to show you. Okay, so this you will be able to see in your logs when you will run your application. When you write something and you hit the button, you will be able to see in your logs. Okay, let's see. uh, Let it get loaded. Okay, click on inspect element and go to console. Okay, so let's say you are writing ship. Okay, and you are hitting right. See the first name, field value ship, last name no value. Okay, but because you this method is getting called, and so the it is also coming in that in the scenario. That's the reason you are seeing in the log. Okay, but the result we have only given into this. That's the reason you are able to see that particular data. Okay, now let's say if I write then shipping. Okay, so that means my using my aura id I'm able to find my component, and whatever the component whatever the value I have the given, that is I am able to find out in my console logs. Now there is one more way, that's a direct approach. If you do not want to use the aura id. So I'm going to create and read dot your attribute. So here the whatever the value it is storing, you're able to see that. So basically what is happening is that because you have passed that attribute into the lightning input, so obviously the attribute purpose, as I told you, is the to store the value, to store the value. So you will be able to see that value into the variable, okay, using component.get. Okay, but as I told you that do not bother about the this thing right now. Just the use it. I mean, just understand the aura id, because this is again I'm going to explain you. Check first name attribute well, and also understand that how our lightning bundle is auto wired. Now two ways, either I can go here and click here and it will update the preview. Okay, now what if I write here, you might refresh it, console. Okay, there's some problem in the spelling here, console. See here, and directly you are getting the attribute value of the respective lightning input directly without using the or ID. Okay, if you want to use the or ID, then you have to provide the or ID to that lightning input or any other, you know, the standard the component. Okay, if I write here, here is I, see here I, here I. Okay, if I write it here is see first name, last name, first name, last name. Okay, so you know the my suggestion is that, you know, whenever you are using the I mean the you have the, you might have, you know, the uh, number of, you know, the attributes, number of, you know, the lightning inputs, and you know, the always, you know, try to use the aura id to make a difference in it, in the provide the aura ids in your standard components. Okay, this is going to help you when you want you know, something uh, to differentiate based on the aura id, or when you wanted, you know, the some I mean, when you're writing the long line of the code, so Aura ID can help you, you know, to easily identify and easily understand it, make it understandable in debugging. Okay. Now, another example which I'm going to take is today is when you have the event base. Okay, when you have the standard component, but based on the browser event, you want to uh, you know, you, that is something, you know, that particular the standard component is some is hitting some browser event. Okay, so that is I'm going to explain you now. Okay, so what I will be doing is I will be this I have, okay, this I have, okay, and I will be using two different buttons now. Okay. Okay. Just thinking of the example. Okay, so let me create one more component. Sample component. BT. Let me show you the example. Here what I'm going to do is I am basically, you know, the trying to find out which exactly the button I have clicked on. Okay. So let me, you know, tell you two attributes I will be using. to store the name and aura ID of button clicked. Okay, that's it. One will be storing the button name, and second one, as I told you, is will be storing the button aura ID. Okay. Now I will be creating two buttons. Okay, two buttons with aura ID. Okay, how same I will be copying. So as I told you, that you can simply type it as the lightning button, and then you will get the code here. Okay, so I will be using one with this color, this brand. Okay, and one I will use as destructive. Okay, so that I can show you the identity difference. Okay, this variant makes the difference in coloring in the that how it looks like. Okay, so my attributes are ready. I have I have used my the I mean the lightning button. Okay, now I want to store the aura ID and the name of the button. Okay, so I will be giving the name as well here. You can give a name to your button because you have the label, that is true. You can give the name as well. Okay, and the aura ID. Same I will be copying from here, and in the action. Okay, me and my, and I am going to make it as 2. Okay, now just to to show you on HTML. Okay, so name you can give, because I will explain you that what is the expression meaning, what everything. Okay, don't worry. So now I'm the this attribute I'm using to show you that which button you have clicked. It should give you that particular data. Okay, and with aura ID The one thing you will be, the getting confused that, because we have the two different, I mean the uh, methods, two different methods, which I am, using in the button. So what makes a difference? But I am using the same method. It will be, the same method which will be contain the logic. Okay, that means though I have two buttons, but still I am calling the same method. And inside this, I will be creating my logic. Okay, where a now here the important thing is you have two different methods to find out using the Aura ID. One is event.getSource.getLocalID, okay, which will not contain the parameter inside. And another one is the event.getSource.get, where you will be providing your name. Oh, sorry, my mistake. This get set method I will explain you. In this example, your focus should be only the Aura ID, then two different methods. This one, get and get local ID. Okay. So my first attribute name is. Don't worry, I'm saying again, just focus on the Aura ID. I will, these things I will be showing you again in the new session. So just focus on the Aura ID for today. Do not get confused or do not understand anything other than the Aura ID, any other line which do not have anything I mean not relevant to the Aura ID. Okay. So let me explain you what I have done so far. Two attributes I have taken. One will be storing the name that which name of the button. So name I have given to the my both of the buttons, me, and second one is my. Sorry, this one, my and me. And second one will be storing the Aura ID. Okay, so I have given my Aura ID to both of the buttons. Okay, now these both buttons have the same method, which on the click of the method, I mean click on the button, this method will be called, which using this event.getSource.get, I will be getting my button name, and using event.getSource.get local ID, I will be getting the Aura ID of this. I am going to, and just for your understanding, I'm just putting into the whatever the value I'm getting in this variable, I am putting in my attribute, and this I'm going to display here. Okay, so let me call my component. let's see what happens. Right now it is blank. Okay, sorry for the disturbed CSS. So I clicked on the brand one, the first one. So me input one, my input two, me input one, my input two. Okay. Now one more thing I want to show you, so that you will understand that why we are using it. Now let's say your project has the the same function which is getting called on a different button, but you want your the logic uh, to be run separately based on which button has been clicked. Okay, so what you will be using is if. Now let's say if uh, if your second button has been clicked, then only this particular logic should work. So you are putting a condition if, and let me create one attribute. Now let me refresh it. See, your my message is blank. Okay, when you will click this, your if statement worked. Okay, now you have to refresh it first. Okay, and if they wanted to, just if you are confused, and let me the I know you might be the confused. Say when I clicked on the first button, your else statement worked, your if statement worked, your else statement worked, your if. Okay, so I know that they might be the confused with this, but just the focus. I'm just telling you because I'm maintaining the sequence, and so just focus on the order ID. Forget about anything. Okay, uh, because in the coming session, I will be talking more about the some examples where I will be explaining you the all these things, the get set, what is so don't bother about these things. Just focus on the aura ID. And if you, if you are able to understand that what is the find function is, I use the component dot find. Okay, it is for the something when you're not bother about the your standard component is not creating some the browser event. Okay, if you are using some browser event, if your standard component is like for example your standard component is getting hit and you want it to be used, uh, you want to use your logic based on something. Okay, for example you clicked on a button, your uh, uh, browser event will be triggered, so you want it in that form. Then you have again two methods, the event.getSource. Now event.getSource means you're finding the source first. Okay. Then get. If you're just using get, you have to put the v.name. That is the name of the string component. Okay. And else, if you don't want to put the name, you're just playing with the aura id, you can use the get local id. Okay, only this thing. So for all the complete lecture, just these things, note it down in somewhere in your notebook or something. Okay, because this is just a demonstration we will be using in our future. Okay, and then the picture will be easy. Okay, I hope you will be enjoying the entire lightning sessions, and in the next session I will be bringing with some more the topics, some more examples, which will make you better the lightning developer. Thank you so much for watching this video and stay safe. Take care of yourself. Goodbye.